Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and hello everyone. My name is Rosalisa binti Roska and my matrix number is 263270. I will explain about my part, which is the abstract. So, in this research project, the purpose of this paper is to identify variables crucial to the acceptance and use of Internet of Things (IoT) among UUM students and the direct impact of UUM students' trust, perceived usefulness, and perceived ease of use on intention to adopt IoT in retail. This study objective is to investigate the influence of perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and trust on intention to adopt retail Internet of Things among UUM students. Responses from UUM students were used to measure their perception of IoT in terms of perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and trust toward the adoption of retail. For the research method, respondents were the UUM students all located in University Utara, Malaysia. A set of questionnaires was organized via Google Form and distributed to the students. A structured questionnaire captures respondents' perception of the purpose to adopt IoT in terms of usefulness, ease of use, and also trust. This study examines the effect of UUM students' perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and trust on the intention to adopt retail Internet of Things. Finding indicates that perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and trust perform an important role in developing high-quality adoption of retail Internet of Things among UUM students. Thus, it could be concluded that perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and trust significantly affect UUM student decision to adopt retail Internet of Things. So, based on the result of the research, we can conclude that IoT adoption can be a powerful way for UUM's student reveal in retail buying due to its high quality impact on UUM student perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and trust. That's all from me, and I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
As we know, the traditional retail system has majorly transforming and digitizing by goods and service. The Internet of Things is bringing every object, customer, and activity into the digital for driving innovation and new opportunities. The consumer adoption of the Internet of Things device expect to increase quickly. The technology acceptance model provides for investigating customer acceptance of new technology, which is perceived usefulness and perceived ease of use. Trust also plays a significant role that affecting the intention of customer on adoption of retail Internet of Things. This is our research objective: to examine the correlation between perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and trust and intention to adopt retail Internet of Things among UUM students, and also to examine whether perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and trust will influence the intention to adopt retail Internet of Things among UUM students. This is our research framework. For the independence variable is perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and trust. For the dependence variable is intention to adopt retail Internet of Things among UUM students. This is our research hypothesis, and we have three hypotheses. The first one is perceived usefulness positively influence intention to adopt retail Internet of Things among UUM students. The second one is perceived ease of use positively influence intention to adopt retail Internet of Things among UUM students. And the last one is trust positively influence intention to adopt retail Internet of Things among UUM students.
My name is Paul Boyi with matrix number 262290. Now I will continue to present the methodology. First, I will explain the research design of our project. In our project, we use the conclusive study, which is basically a more authorized and contrasted than exploratory study. The conclusive study design can be either casual or descriptive, and descriptive study design can be considered as longitudinal or cross-sectional. As the name implies, the important goals of descriptive study is to explain the market attribute or purpose. For our research project, the descriptive research is carried to examine the relationship between IV and DV. Next, based on the research, we choose to obtain the qualitative information with the use of survey methodology. A set of the questionnaire will be prepared through the Google form and distributed to the public. A survey may also include the various types of questions, for instance, open, close, metric table, and single or multi-answer questions. In addition, we choose the multiple choice question for our survey. We keep the words short and avoid the ambiguity or double negations while repeating the questions. And we send the Google form to the group they will choose through some platform like WhatsApp and Facebook. Monitoring our answer rate is significant as our final sample size depends on the number of participants our survey completes. We also visualize the data obtained by displaying the findings in diagrams and graphs because they would allow us to easily check our study results. The final stage in conducting online survey is to prepare a report that defines the answers and whether they reach the research objective. Next, there are a log or method for the data collection process. We decided to use the Google form to create the questionnaire. And there are 3 sections in the questionnaire, which is the section A consists of questions for the respondent to answer about the demographic. Section B consists of questions about the influence of perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and trust. The section C consists of respondent opinions about the intentions to adopt of feature Internet of Things among the UUM students. And also we chose the UUM student as our target population because of the proximity to us and the ease with which we can conduct research there. And also there are 2 principal methods of sampling, which is the probability and non-probability sampling. In our research, we decide to use the non-probability sampling method, which we draw the sample randomly and each student being chosen in unknown. Because it enables for an interview with a large number of participants within a short period of time and is commonly used in the early research phase, including the development of constructions and measurements measure as well as the pre-setting of questionnaire. That's all for my part. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lakenza and my metric number is 269666 and I will continue this presentation. Sample size and overall contact rates. Sample in this study among UUM students, which including the Malaysian and the international school, and according to the research, there are 20,000 and above of student population in UUM, which includes undergraduate, postgraduate, and others, and therefore we consider to use the Taro Yamane in 1967 methods to determine the sample size. And the formula to calculate the sample size is n equal to n divided by 1 plus n times the e square, and which means that the small n signifies the sample size, the capital N signifies the population under study, and E signifies the margin error. The sampling frame. The sampling frame is one of the most important features of sample design in research study, and this is because the sampling frames contains a notable impact on the profitability and quality of any survey. And according to the website of UUS, or also known as University Utara Malaysia, there are 28,866 students has been recorded in 25th of August 2019, and which are 23,907 are undergraduates and 4,959 are postgraduate students. And we require to obtain 200 undergraduates and postgraduate students responded from this population. In order to accomplish this goal during this COVID-19 pandemic, we distribute the survey via online survey, and we use the most precise methods of confidential interval to samples because the statistical concept of variability, sampling error, and confidential error are used, and therefore our most standard sample error level is 5%, which means that the confidential interval is 95%. The experience in using online data collection methods. And because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we have been restricted with the methods that we can use to collect data. Therefore, we use the most efficient and easiest way to collect data is through online. And therefore, we create a series of questionnaires using the Google form. And the questionnaire are created based on the independent variable, which are the perceived of usefulness, perceived ease of use and trust, and dependent variable is the intention to adopt the retail Internet of Things, also known as IoT. And the next step is we distribute the Google form among the UUM students, and the questionnaire has been distributed to our classmates, friends study in UUM, and the other platforms that we can reach to the UM students. The reason for choosing the online method to collect data. In my opinion, there are several reasons why we're choosing this method to collect data, and this is because it is the best way or method to use it during this COVID-19 pandemic. This is because during this pandemic, we are facing a very tough time where we are unable to travel from place to place to meet our respondents personally. Therefore, we decide to use this online collection method. Next, we care for our respondent health. This is because the health safety has become everyone's concerns, and therefore, the face-to-face interactions has been terminal. And fortunately, the technology, especially the online tools like Google Forms, allow us to continue our project despite the current restrictions in human interactions. Furthermore, more and more people are active through online, and we believe that the response has become more convenient and accessible because they spend their time at home. And this opportunity is very visible among our UM students, which our respondents are mostly at their home and dorms every day. Last but not least, the collection data on online methods is only a viable option for us, and this is because due to the travel restrictions in cities, the fieldwork is almost impossible at this point. And furthermore, online collections methods also safe and risk-free interaction with all the segment of population who has become more adept on using the computers and moving device. The benefit of online data collections. The first one is the ability to obtain the real-time results during conducting the online survey. This is because we may access and evaluate the result as soon as the participant has finished the questionnaire, and the data will be easily filled and displayed in a number of report forms using the online feedback management system. And next, the data obtained over the internet may save the significant amount of time of work. And because of this, we're able to save a lot of time by performing all these functions in one integrated online systems. And the third one is it is very easy and convenient for the respondent to complete the online survey, and this provides the user control over the survey's completions, which boosts the engagement and response rates. The problem of using the online data collections. During this research, we have faced several problems while collecting data through online. And the first one is not all the respondents will complete the questionnaire. This is because those respondents might be unaware of the reason for giving any answer due to a lack of knowledge to this subject or even boredom. Next, the respondents are less likely to stay fully engaged to these questionnaires lasting more than 5 minutes. And moreover, some respondents less likely to have a better internet access to respond to the online questionnaires. And this is because some respondents may stay in a rural place where they do not have a very good internet access.
My name is Ti Hui Yi and my metric number is 262806, and now I'll be presenting about the data analysis of our report. So we managed to collect data from 142 respondents, which are all students from UUM, and we analyzed the demographic profile of the respondents in terms of their gender, their nationality, their ethnicity, their monthly income, and their highest education level. And we also measured the descriptive statistic in terms of the mean and the standard deviation of the variables. And the perceived ease of use showed the highest mean, and the lowest mean is the intention to adopt. And we also measured the independent t-test, and only the t-test of perceived usefulness is significant, which means that there is a difference between the male and female in terms of the perceived usefulness. Moving on to correlation, it shows that all three independent variables have an association with the dependent variable. Besides that, we also did the regression analysis in terms of the model summary, the ANOVA, and also the coefficients. And based on the equation from the coefficients, only trust significantly predicted the intention to adopt the IOTS. Therefore, only hypothesis 3 is accepted. And moving on to discussion of the findings. So based on the data analysis that we did for this research, we found out that trust significantly influenced the intention to adopt the IOTS. This means that students who have trust in the IoT technologies do not overestimate risks, they assess communication and info transmit, and they have more trust in adopting the IoT technologies. So moving on to the implication of the findings. So a lot of retailers nowadays are specifically searching to adopt IoTS so that they can provide a greater customer experience for their buyers. And what they can do is that they can provide their customers IoT trials and experiences, and their workers also need to have full training for the IoTS so that they can minimize the service failures and maximize the customer experiences. This is very important so that they can provide an IoT service that is trustworthy, easy to use, and useful. And that is all for my part, and I'll pass it to the next presenter. Thank you.
Last part is the conclusion. Based on the result of the present research, we can conclude that retail Internet of Things adoption may be an effective way of enhancing of retail experience due to its positive influence on the UM students' perception of usefulness, ease of use, and also trust. We can suggest that perceived usefulness, perceived ease of use, and trust plays an important role on intention to adopt retail Internet of Things among UM students and reveals that respondent perceived usefulness, ease of use, and trust retail Internet of Things do not overrate risk, value communication, and knowledge transfer, and are more likely to adopt retail Internet of Things. That's all from us. Thank you.